Hello students, this is Shweta Roy. This video is for chapter 4 History part 3 Colonialism and Tribal Societies. In this video, we are going to discuss about the Munda Rebellion, tribal movements in the northeast, and in that we have subtopics Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya. After that we have some of the other revolts like Khirwar or Safahar movement of 1914 led by Jatra Orao. So these are some of the topics which we are going to cover in this video. So here we will start with the Munda Rebellion. The Munda Rebellion was also known as Kulgulan or Great Tumult. Now this was one of the most popular tribal revolt. This was led by Birsa Munda and this took place in 1899 to 1900 and the place was south of Ranchi. Now we will discuss something about Birsa Munda. So Birsa Munda was born in the mid of 1870s and he basically born in a poor family. His father was a sharecropper. Sharecropper means the farmer who used to grow crops on sharing. Now, Birsa Munda's early life was spent in a forest, very far. It was a vast forest of Bohonda. So, he grew up in Bohonda forest and he used to play and graze his sheep there. Now, from the young time, he was hearing the stories of Munda revolts which took place in the past and he was very much inspired by the stories of Munda. Also, the leaders of his community, they used to urge the people to raise voice against colonialism. Now they used to speak about the establishment of golden age. Now in this golden age, Jagirdars, Tikadars and Dikhush are actually the outsiders. They needs to be expelled from their lands and these tribal people would regain their ancestral rights, the rights which they were having from which their ancestors were having. That right they wanted, and like this they were talking about establishment of golden age, and in this golden age all the Jagidars, Tikadars, Dikhush would be expelled from their land and they would get their rights back. So these kind of situation was there around the Birsa Munda. He born in a poor family. Also, he from the young age only he used to listen the stories of Munda, and he used to the leaders of the community used to urge the people to raise voice against colonialism, and all these things had a great impact on him. Now the Birsa Munda received his early education in a local missionary. And there also he heard that if Mundas became good Christians and they gave up all their bad practices, they could attain the kingdom of heaven. And also they could get their previous rights which they actually lost. Now this Birsa used to belong, the Birsa belonged to Vaishnavit section, and he used to wear a sacred thread, and he used to maintain the purity. Now there was a movement in 1893 to 94 in which he participated, and the movement was to prevent village wastelands of the village to be prevented from being taken over by the forest department. So this was a movement in which Birsa participated. Now there is a saying that in 1895 Birsa saw a vision of a supreme god, and after that he got a miraculous hearing power, and he started his movement with an aim of reform his tribal society. He asked the Mundas to refrain from drinking liquor and being superstitious. Also, Birsa wanted the Mundas to return their glorious past, and that glorious past was known as Satyug. So Birsa wanted his people, Mundas, to go back to Satyug from the present life, which was actually Kalyug for them. Also, he stood against the Hindu landlords, the moneylenders, and the Christian missionaries, and they were referred as the outsiders. So he stood against all these peoples who actually made the life of the tribal pathetic or miserable. Now, while this attempt of reforming the Munda society, Birsa got help from the chiefs of the tribals. The tribal chiefs also wanted to throw out the alien landlords. So the aim, if you see, was the same, and that is why the tribal chiefs also supported the Birsa. Now this movement soon became agrarian as well as political. So it was having a political motive also and the agrarian motive also. Now the Birsa went from one village to another, and he organized meetings and rallies so that he can urge the people to support him. In the meantime, his followers attacked the company officials, policemen, landlords, and moneylenders. Now, to suppress the revolt, the British officials arrested Munda in 1895. And also he was accused of causing revolts and riots, and he was sentenced for 2 years. Now that non-tribal poor people were to be spared from the attacks, he gathered a force of 6,000 Mundas who were armed with bows, arrows, swords, and spears. So these were the main weapons which were used by the Mundas, and his followers raided the property and lands of moneylenders and landlords. So you can see it was a kind of violent revolt. Also, the white flag was declared as the symbol of the Birsa Raj. They used to uh, put a white flag to declare the symbol of the Birsa Raj. Now Birsa was again arrested in February 1900, and there he suffered with cholera and he died in jail. And he died in June 1900, and after his death the Munda rebellion faded away, and they forced the government to pass the Chota Nagpur Tenancy Act of 1908. According to the act of this Chota Nagpur Tenancy Act of 1908, the beggar and beth, forced labor, was banned, and some of the laws were introduced to safeguard the land rights of Mundas in their villages. Also, the Birsa movement displayed the strength, might and courage of the tribals against aliens. Here the aliens are outsiders. Now Munda began to considered as a hero, and his movement actually provided strength and pace to other socio-religious movements of that time. Other movements were inspired by the Munda's movement. Now there is an activity to check your progress till now. Whom do you consider your hero or a person of strength, courage and determination? Is that any actor, politician, player or someone else? Now what qualities must a person possess to become a national hero? So do this activity, make a report of this. Now we have the topic tribal movements in Northeast. So here we will discuss about the tribal movements which happened in the Northeast India. So there we have Assam. And Assam witnessed a series of tribal revolts in 1893 to 94. And what was the main cause of these revolts? So the main cause of these revolts was the high land revenue demand. Because of the high land revenue demand, the revolts happened. Because of the colonialism, the revenue demand of Darang and Kamrup districts gone up by 50 to 70%. And the peasants failed to pay the revenue, and when they failed to pay the revenue, their lands were seized by the British officials. So in case of non-payment of revenue, their lands were seized. The peasants united together and protested under the leadership of local leaders. But the British succeeded in the suppressing the revolt. The British suppressed the revolts. Next Northeast area which we are going to discuss about is Manipur. Now in Manipur there was a war of succession. There was war of succession among the princes of Manipur. And because of this, the British got a chance to interfere in the internal affairs of the state. When the king of the Manipur died, his eldest son Sur was crowned as the new king. But he was overthrown by the Prince Tikendrajit and his allies. Now his eldest son Surchandra sought help from the British so that he can regain his lost powers. British declared a fight against Tikendrajit, which happened on 27th April 1891. Now there was a strong resistance, but after that strong resistance, Tikendrajit was defeated, he was captured, and he was hanged by the British. Now after that, later on, after some time, there was a monument, the name was Bir Tikendrajit Park, was built in his memory. It was built on the same place where the British hanged him. The next northeast area is Meghalaya. So as we have already discussed that Battle of Buxar, which happened in 1765, in that the British got the Diwani rights of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. For facilitation in collection of revenue, British wanted to build a road, and this road would connect Brahmaputra and Surma Valley. Now this road, which would connect Brahmaputra and Surma Valley, this road had to pass through the Khasi Hills, and there in Khasi Hills, Khasi tribes were resided. Also the British wanted to build a sanatorium, which they wanted to build in Khasi Hills. So basically they wanted to build a road and sanatorium in the Khasi Hills. But the Khasi tribe opposed the idea of both road and sanatorium. They also resented the house tax that they had been imposed. Now this house tax was imposed upon the people who were living in the Khasi Hills in 1860. So the tribe also resented the house tax. And like this, the revolt rose. But this revolt was very easily suppressed by the British, because this revolt was not well organized. So it was very easy to suppress, and it was suppressed by the British. After that, British also levied an income tax on the people towards the close of 1860. And this resulted in another revolt. And this revolt was led by V. Keong Nonbak. But this revolt was not like earlier. This revolt was well organized. And it was so well organized that 7 British regiments and troops had been sent to suppress it. And after that, this V. Keong Nonbak was arrested and hanged. He was hanged in front of people, and this was done so that there can be a terror in the people's hearts and minds, and so that they cannot think of the revolt again. Now in 1872, the British sent their regiments in Garo Hills to establish control over that region, and this again was the cause of another revolt. Now this revolt was led by Pa Togan Sangma. Again, tribals were easily defeated, and they were defeated because of their outdated weapons. They were having outdated weapons. They were having bows and arrows, spears, swords, these things, and it was not it cannot compete with the advanced weapons which Europeans were having. So because of the outdated weapons, they were defeated. Now we will discuss about some of the other small revolts which was there against the colonialism. So in that we have Kherwar or Safahar movement. It took place in 1874. This was led by Bhagirath Manjhi. And this movement actually aimed at the social reforms. Also, the idea of one god was popularized. Now the movement also attacked the harsh revenue policy of the British. By 1881, over 41,000 tribals of Santhal Pargana region joined the revolt, and the British contingent of 45,000 soldiers were deployed in the area so that they can suppress the revolt. For 41,000 tribals, 45,000 soldiers were deployed. And after that, the police force were permanently stationed in the Pargana so that the another revolt cannot take place. Another movement which was led by Jatra Oraon, which took place in 1914, and in this movement, the Oraon urged his people to undergo self-reformation. And how that could be done? The self-reformation could be done by giving up drinking and animal sacrifices. He actually preached a virtuous life devoid of vices. Now, in this revolt, in this movement, 26,000 tribal people joined him. And this was a kind of non-violent protest which was against landlords, moneylenders and administrators. Oraon also asked his followers not to work without wages or pay taxes. He asked his followers, do not work without wages or do not pay taxes. Now this was a kind of popularity, and the British took early measures to suppress the revolt. They understood there can be a revolt, huge revolt, so they suppressed it in the early position. I hope you all understood all the topics taught in this video. Thank you.